Hello and welcome to another death battle prediction. This time it's Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty against the Doctor from Doctor Who. Joining me today are my two co-hosts.
Hello. Hey guys.
So yes, and if you couldn't tell, I'm barely familiar with the Doctor from Doctor Who. I've only seen a bunch of openings in the 10th Doctor.
I've only heard about the series existing, but I've never watched any show or movie or its existence. I am familiar with the one from Lego Dimensions.
Oh yeah, I forgot Doctor Who did a collaboration with Lego Dimensions.
Hey, in my opinion, it was honestly underrated.
Lego Dimensions was underrated. I mean, it came up with a good boss fight for my boy Chaos, of all things.
Chaos, like from Skylanders?
No, not that Chaos! Sonic the Hedgehog Chaos!
Oh,
the Guardian
right.
of the Chow and the God of Destruction. The Neutral Boy.
You're right, I forgot about that. I keep forgetting that they kind of add in more than one collaboration with other franchises.
But yes.
Really seems trailer by trailer.
And because I have little to no knowledge with Doctor Who, Nuke is gonna help me out with that one.
Hey Nuke, did you figure out which version of the Doctor they're using?
Nuke?
What do you mean by which version?
There's more than one iteration of the Doctor from the Doctor Who franchise.
Oh, you mean like between first, second, third, fourth, so on and so forth?
Yes. So have you figured out which version of the...
We don't know which version's being used in the animation as the primary, but it's probably one of the David Tennant ones, because that just makes the most sense. He's the most popular of the modern ones.
Wait, David who?
David Tennant.
He's the 10th and 14th.
Can I see the image of him or something?
Yeah, I'll grab one.
Ready yet? I got with the GIF right here. Tennant.
Yeah, I know what GIF.
That's him?
The first one is him as the 10th, the second one is him as the 14th.
So he's basically the same Doctor in the 10th and the 14th.
Pretty much the I mean...
We don't know exactly what the 14th is going to be like yet, but it's likely going to be very similar because, same actor and all.
But
I can never understand the Doctor Who franchise. The only thing I understand about is the TARDIS.
And this series has been around since the 60s, and people think Rick is going to beat the Doctor. I'm like...
Oh, the 60s?
Yeah, it's very old.
And I'm like, have you seen Mega Man vs. Astro Boy?
The Doctor has things in almost every single type of medium.
Well, since
TV show, books, movies, video games, comics, novels, audio stories.
Well, I'm also going to be covering Rick Sanchez, so this will probably be a little easier for me. And something I can get into.
So yeah, we got the G1 blog for this thing?
Well, it's not done yet. It's gonna be a while.
So
and I managed to open up the DB fan and wiki
from the fact that the Doctor
just
so much stuff to go through. We're not even going to be able to go through it all in these 2 weeks.
Especially since there's so many variants. It's pretty much the same character. It's just
when you consider. There's two ways to consider the Doctor in a versus matchup sense. You either go straight up, purely everything. You focus on one iteration and then scale to the rest, or you just consider everything in one go. Because all of the Doctor's incarnations scale to each other.
And this is the image I could get from the Versus Wiki.
Some are better at certain things than others, but they all pretty much scale.
So yeah, pretty much all of these actors were the Doctor, essentially.
And they're the same person?
Yes. Kind
Seriously?
of. Time Lord physiology is weird. It's that you regenerate into a completely new body with the same memories.
each year they're going in, it kind of has a different aging gap with one another. Sometimes they reverse, sometimes they go forward.
Yeah,
It's weird.
that's the Doctor for you.
And while I know people don't really like me using the Versus Wiki, I'm going to use it anyway, but I am going to go the Doctor Who Wiki just to make back some stats up.
Mhm.
So which character are we going to do?
I can help.
Rick Sanchez or the Doctor?
I imagine Rick's name is first in the episode title, so.
So you might as well get Rick Sanchez out of the way.
Sir, yes, sir. All right then. Rick Sanchez. He's 40 years old. He's a mad scientist. His height is 6'1". We don't know his actual weight, but whatever. Rick Sanchez is the protagonist of the Adult Swim animated television series Rick and Morty. He is, like I said, a mad scientist that kind of creates his own inventions, the fly, and he's basically an alcoholic. He also has a very temper, very short temper, and an attitude. Well, not short temper, more like a normal temper, but whatever. He's from the universe C-137. He's an eccentric mad scientist with an addiction habit. He originally lived a normal life with his family while struggling to invent teleportation before he turned down an offer to see the multiverse with an evil version of himself who killed his wife and daughter, Beth, out of spite. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of petty.
Oh yeah, if you've seen the latest episode of Rick and Morty, you'd understand just how petty it is.
This spurred Rick to travel the multiverse to hunt down Rick Prime, wreaking havoc and destruction while resulted him and some of his alternate selves establishing the Council of Ricks after years of wanton slaughter. Rick would eventually
if I may interject, are we going to bring up the latest episode that happened yesterday? Or 2 days ago? I don't remember.
Of,
So we have Season 7, Episode 5, the most recent episode to come out.
I think I'm not sure what happened. I haven't watched Rick and Morty in ages because, well, with that whole...
You guys okay if I talk about what happened?
Go right ahead.
I mean, I don't care about spoilers, so go ahead.
Alright. Evil Morty makes a reappearance. He helps C-137 Rick find Rick Prime, and then together the two of them basically go into a pretty cool looking fight, and Evil Morty ends up defeating Prime Rick Prime. And then C-137 finally gets his chance to kill Rick Prime, and he does.
Good for him. He accomplished his goal.
And he ends up sort of just kind of not... I don't know what the best way to describe the emotion he feels is, but it's sort of... The sound of the episode sort of fades out into just music for the rest of it, and I think it's sort of trying to show that it doesn't really feel as good as he wanted to about it. He's just kind of numb to it.
Didn't he accomplish his goal after?
Yeah.
After.
But I think the point they're trying to show is that with a goal like that, accomplishing it doesn't give you the same sort of feeling as most other goals. And he doesn't really, because that's been his goal for ever since Rick Prime killed his wife.
Isn't he happy about it?
I don't think he is, because what's he going to do now?
Oh God, you're right.
He doesn't know what his life is if it's not hunting down Rick Prime.
You want to know something else? When Rick eventually located Rick Prime's universe, he learned that he abandoned his family, deciding to assume his identity to live with Beth's family before Calamity forced him to take himself and his grandson Morty Smith to another universe, where they and their new reality Smith family go on a series of insane adventures.
The Morty that C-137 Rick is with is Prime Rick's Morty. I think. That's what the episode very much seemed to say.
There's one thing I don't get about Evil Morty's portal gun. Why is it gold or yellow?
Because it works outside of the central finite curve, I believe. It works a little bit differently.
I can never understand the sci-fi behind it.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. Just wait.
There's also a comic series.
Just wait until you get to the part where I talk about the Doctor being a concept, not a person.
Seriously?
Yep.
It's gonna get a little crazy.
It's gonna get a little weird. It's gonna get a little wild.
To be honest, they did. To be fair, they did make an episode of making fun of meta humor.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that one time when they went to the one facility with the self-referential six?
Self-referential six.
Only to there to be 5 of them, which doesn't make sense.
Oh, it gets even more wilder because the Doctor Who wiki has 15, since the Versus wiki is not really updated. And the 15th
Fair enough.
And the 15th Doctor is the newest one, technically.
I should also probably mention there isn't only just 15 Doctors. There's way more. Like,
there's also
oh my god.
There's also the War Doctor, which that's a whole other can of worms.
There's the War Doctor, 10th regenerated into himself, like once. Not just 10th, not just the. And by that I don't mean he became 14th. I mean the 10th regenerated into himself. So the 10th regenerated into the 10th again. So 10th is technically... It's weird. War is technically the 9th, but also kind of isn't because of the way it happened. 10 is 10 and 11 in some weird way, but it was mostly because he used enough to regenerate himself and then put the rest into a cut-off hand that he had in the TARDIS, which then ended up making another Doctor, another 10th Doctor.
Huh.
So he kind of cloned himself in a way.
That's weird. Should I get into Rick's arsenal?
Sure.
As always, Rick carries around a portal gun, a device that rips a hole in time and space, allowing it to travel to anywhere in any reality. It has a self-destruct feature.
It's not exactly time travel. The portal gun is just space travel.
That's fair. It can also split nearly anything in half, and it can be used to send people to hostile dimensions, like the Blender dimension. But he also has an antimatter gun, which shoots antimatter and can kill transdimensional higher beings that are immune to traditional matter and are energy-based attacks. He also carries a particle watch, which is basically a wristwatch that shoots concentrated particle beams, which completely destroys anything on a subatomic level. He also has an arsenal of laser guns, ranging from a gun that was used to protect Summer from the Gazorpazorb monsters in the episode Raising Gazorpazorb. It was also used in Season 2, Episode 2 to take down the space police. And was also used to kill the alien parasites in Season 2, Episode 4. And Rick owns multiple guns. It's usually able to one-shot a lot of monsters. He also carries a freeze wedge, that's self-explanatory, a grappling hook, that's also self-explanatory, and a bubble gun, which creates airless bubbles around the target and transport them somewhere else. He also has other variations of weapons. He also has unnamed throwing weapons that was used in Look Who's Purging Now, and it completely disintegrated one of the animal humanoids. He also has self-replicating turret jammer, a device that absorbs bullets and transforms into robots and climbs into the bullet of the target before jamming it, making it overload and explode. He also carries a staff, some grenades, and a shovel for some reason. He also has gravity shoes, which can walk on any surface. Ski shoes, which are rocket-powered skis that Rick used to go up on a bunch of stairs that were also able to be used upside down, and an artificial arm, which was used to replace Rick's arm, that should he lose one, and has a built-in laser strong enough to destroy a large alien bird in one shot. He also carries around an armor suit that includes missile energy guns and a flamethrower mounted on the wrist, electrical blasts that knock someone out, melee blades, and buzzsaws, and rocket boots that allow him to fly. He also has a nanofiber defense mesh. Looking at Rick's epidermis, the device blasts away any attackers with an electrical wave. There's also an instant death contact, Any normal human who touches Rick will die instantly. It is never stated what type of gadget this is. I think he's talking. I think it's talking about that one.
That one
episode
dude
where
who touched him in the president's office, and he was just dead instantly. And he was like, "What the hell was that? Death?
Death.
Well, what kind? Instant. But nothing happened. He just fell over. I don't know if that's exactly what it said, but it's close enough.
He also has reflective force fields. Normally invisible force fields from Rick's watch that can precisely block and deflect projectiles back at enemies. This can be used against multiple opponents simultaneously. It can also block punches. Reflection technology does this by accurately predicting where bullets are going to strike, which can be visibly displayed out as a hologram. There's also holograms, which Rick can create fake holograms of himself to confuse opponents, allowing him to dodge their attacks with ease. A hamster ball barrier gives Rick some superhuman speed and can block rockets. It does have limitations, however, and he also has a cognition helmet. A helmet that makes the user smarter the more batteries that are placed in. Wasn't that used for Snowball?
Mm-hmm.
He also has a bunch of gadgets, like the Meeseeks button. As it stated, it can summon a bunch of Meeseeks and you make them do whatever. There's also size-shifting lasers, which affects people and objects, and can make something large enough to fit inside somebody or as large as a continent. The first one was used to turn Morty into a microscopic size. The counterpart weapon that enlarges is on Rick's ship. He also has a time freezer, which freezes time on a universal scale. With stolen technology from the fourth dimension, Rick can do this with the press of a button. There's also a curse remover, which it removes curses. What did you expect? From objects, that is. There's also dream inceptors. Have you seen that one movie, Inception, where the people go inside other people's dreams?
Yep.
That's basically that. If you die in the dream, you die for real, like SAO.
If I can just interject here, the Doctor has a very direct counter to that.
Is it because of his magic wrench or something?
Nope. Entirely within his mind, the evil aspects. Alright, every Gallifreyan person has this. Their most evil aspects are sort of can coalesce into a being that can torment their own mind. There's a episode from the 11th Doctor where he goes up against this entity within his own mind directly, called the Dream Lord.
The Dream Lord?
Yes, it has basically... It can't do anything to reality, but it can do whatever it wants within the Doctor's dream.
As long as it's in the dream, right?
Yes. Meaning that if Rick entered the Doctor's dream, it wouldn't give him any advantage. The Doctor would literally... If anything, there would be an advantage for the Doctor because the Dream Lord doesn't have any of the same morality constraints. He would just straight up torment Rick until he left.
Some of the devices that Rick's made were just basically some one-off things from episodes, like an animal communication helmet, an anti-squirrel electrical pulse, a device used to paralyze an army of squirrels for 5 minutes. It doesn't affect humans. He also created a love potion for Morty, which kind of made it worse because of the flu. And then there was the Cronenberg potion, which turns people into mutant abominations. He has an unnamed eye juice, which makes him see better, and a time-stabilizing color, which of course stabilizes time. He also has concentrated dark matter, a method of moving faster than anybody in the universe. A handful of components mixed incorrectly can create an explosive explosion the size of Jupiter. He also of course, his trademarked UFO car. It's used to travel across the universe quickly, strong enough to pull the Earth, and lots of lasers and guns. An AI that follows any order, although does not recognize basic ethics and laws to do so, can create fake humans. This was used to traumatize a policeman by creating a fake clone of his deceased son. And it's fueled by a microverse civilization, which has another microverse within it, for some reason. Rick doesn't really like going to therapy because one time he turned himself into a pickle, and after falling into the sewers, Rick used his genius to defend himself against sewer rats. until he gathered enough organs to make a red cyborg body. He then used trash within the sewers to make weapons and escape the rat nest. I mean, I get that he didn't want to go to therapy, but why did he bother turning into a pickle?
Because why the fuck not? Because he could do it.
A pickle rig!
Don't
Funniest
stop.
shit I've ever seen.
It's been. I will admit that moment has been memed to hell and back.
Yeah. You just know they're going to reference it in the episode. It's like the most popular meme, most well known, other than, I guess, what, Szechuan sauce?
Oh, I've actually tried out the Szechuan sauce a long time ago, and it was pretty good.
I'm guessing this was from McDonald's.
Yes, it was from McDonald's.
I'm not really concerned about McDonald's, to be honest.
It was like a promotion for the Mulan movie.
Every time I have McDonald's, all I can say is it gives me food poisoning. So there's that.
All right. What next back on, Rick?
I'm just gonna go into his feeds because some of the stuff that is listed here is basically when he turned into a pickle, and they basically never brought up again. For his feats, he went into another dimension and got medicine that completely healed Morty's legs, outwitted the Zygerians numerous times, saved Earth from the Cromulons with a music kit, took out the Federation Council of Ricks in an act of improvisation, hacking into the Federation's mainframe to depreciate their currency and cause a chaotic depression across the universe. Like the Great Depression. Okay. His years of substance abuse made him poisonous to facehugger aliens, killing them within seconds of latching on. According to himself, he is able to somehow turn a black hole into a sun. Apparently, the smartest man in the universe can break the fourth wall. According to himself, he has the hardest working liver in the galaxy, which has survived being shot by a plasma gun, the same kind had already been used to kill many with only one shot, whilst Rick was seen to be fine and the shot wound was gone by the next day or so. Turned himself into a pickle and was able to kill rats and several officers in this form, fast enough to dodge point-blank gunfire as a pickle, fought Jaguar to a standstill, single-handedly destroyed a Russian agency as a pickle. This dodged lasers and gunfire, beat up 4 monsters with teeth, beat Revolio Clockberg Jr. in a fight. Got rid of a lot of alien parasites, killed a world ender, and built several death traps for the Vindicators in one night while drunk. Discovered a new element in a way to conduct electricity in a toxin wasteland. Was slammed through multiple floors of the White House without a scratch. Learned the home address of the mother of a high-ranking American general, just so he could taunt the guy. And defeated the U.S.
Hold on. He didn't know where that guy's mother lived. He made a guess.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because the guy was like, "Is that where?" Because the guy's response was, "Is that her address?" And Rick was like, "You don't know because you're a bad son." There was no. I mean, it probably was, but there was no confirmation.
Okay. Like I said, he also defeated the U.S. president, which, according to the DB fan wiki, who closely resembles to Barack Obama for some reason.
Yeah, it's because it's a well-known. Plus, it meant they could get Keith David for it.
Yeah, Keith David is a master voice actor.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he's going to be in Has Been Hotel, it makes me even more impressed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I heard he's playing Husk, is that right?
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, this isn't his first time playing a cat character.
I mean, this isn't his first rodeo with the demon character either.
He claims to be able to detect invisibility, create a truly level shelf, survived to have his arm torn off. His car's AI negotiated peace between humans and a giant telepathic spiders, and fast enough to dodge a giant laser that was shot from a satellite in 2 seconds. Don't get me wrong. Rick is extremely cool, but he does have his own flaws. Like his cybernetics have limitations. His durability and speed are not superhuman without assistance from his additional gadgets. He is a glass cannon. Whoever can kill a normal human can also kill him. A defective portal gun can disintegrate the user. Rick cannot see where he teleports through his portal gun. If Rick were to unintentionally go to a dangerous dimension, like the Blender dimension, he would be killed. He would be easily killed. His best feats are accomplished through preparation. Despite being a genius, Rick has severe mental issues and various forms of
His
insanity.
biggest weakness is probably his himself.
Yeah, don't forget his drunk state as well.
Mm.
He's also highly antisocial. His knowledge of the infinite multiverse has made Rick unmotivated and suicidal. Extremely alcoholic, also almost always stressed out, frequently drooling or covered in his own vomit. Very egotistical and prefers to fool around at first. Prone to manic and nonsensical angry ranting. Addicted to McDonald's Mulan Szechuan sauce. Appears to have a pirate phobia for some reason.
Yeah.
Violently paranoid, especially since he has experience with shape-shifting or mind-washing aliens, and his relationship with the parasitic hive mind Unity tends to bring out the worst in him. Why is he afraid of pirates? I don't get it.
I don't know, just he is.
He also made some failures. He made a lot of enemies across the multiverse, along with having a vast criminal record that includes various accounts of assault, murder, terrorism, burglary, cable piracy, child abuse, DUI, genocide, human cloning, illegal arms dealing, identity theft, technically, kidnapping, slavery, smuggling, time bending, and torture. He is mentioned to have apparently broken 1,000 laws a day.
Mm-hmm. I can.
Is he a war criminal or something?
Yes.
He also created. Remember that time where he created a love potion for Morty? That ended up destroying all of Cronenberg.
Well, it wasn't exactly a love potion. It was more like a kind of pheromone thing. But I
know.
do know what you mean.
He also ruined the Simpsons couch again and indirectly killed the Simpsons family, stealing items from the
Blaming
family
it on
household.
Morty.
Well,
that it? I can't wait to get to this and to start talking about the Doctor.
Still, he stole items from the family household, freezing Ned Flanders and giving Morty a contained vial that led to the Simpsons being reconstituted as a mutant Rick hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
Despite his intelligence, Rick has been arrested multiple times. Despite his defenses, he has been overpowered on a few occasions and was once even drugged because of it. On some occasions, he was only saved by sheer luck. After being in a violent space battle, he admitted he only survived by luck. He was captured by Concerto and admitted to Morty that they had no way out and they were going to die, and was saved by Jaguar for some reason. Morty has stated 40% of the neutrino bombs are prone to not working. Couldn't find a way to restore himself without the toxic versions of him and Morty. Despite killing several trained guards when he turned himself into a pickle, he clearly struggled against a freedom fighter that was armed with a regular gun. Couldn't stop a random telekinesis from choking him to death, and has been kidnapped by Pringles before. Lost to Zeus in a battle as well. Wait, Pringles? Like the
Yes,
brand?
there was a Pringles commercial involving Rick and
I
Morty.
know. And they got attacked by the Morty bots.
Mm.
Don't forget that he's also a sellout as well.
Right. And I should mention that two of the Doctor's incarnations are totally different. One of them was female, and the other one was black, being the most recent Doctor, being the 15th.
As long as Doctor Who isn't woke, I'm good.
Oh, they're... no, it's...
The 15th had moments, or it kind of approached that. But
I hate woke culture.
It did it well.
But
it wasn't, like, woke, but...
It was just, they basically figured out the topic of that.
But again, also, it's all of time and space, so it's not really woke, it's just future.
As for the 15th Doctor, I have no clue what that one entails, because I mean, all I know...
We're still going to get through the 14th, like, 3 specials over the next year, and then we'll have the 15th, and we have no idea what the 15th adventure
mean-
is going to be like. But
we already know what he
Russell T
looks
Davis
like.
is going to be doing it as the showrunner, so it should be very, very good.
Well, from what I've seen, according to the Doctor Who wiki, this is what apparently the 15th Doctor looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play it well. I have nothing wrong with any of the actors they've chosen to play the Doctor.
That and
Yeah, same
he's
here.
and he's also Scottish. So who would have thought?
I believe his name is...
The actor is Nkuti
There.
Gatwa. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, so I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry
might-
if I butchered the name.
I think... I'm pretty sure his last name is pronounced Gatwa, or something like that. The first name, though, Nkuti, maybe?
Nkuti. Again,
I could be very wrong.
we could be both wrong, and we have trouble pronouncing his name, so we apologize in advance, Doctor Who fans, so we'll let it slide.
Names are hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 13th Doctor was played by...
Jodie Whittaker, and she's a good doctor, hampered by bad writing a lot of the time. When she had good writing, she was very good.
So yeah.
Every actor
Could
has
you
been
just-
really good. It's just the writing that really...
Can't you just use the DB Fandom Wiki for help? For the Doctor?
There's no point because it's not updated. Just like how the Versus Wiki is. But to just briefly sum it up, the titular main protagonist of the British television series Doctor Who.
Wait, I have an intro that I wrote, that I just cobbled together quickly.
What do you think the
Basically-
season finale is going to be?
Again, we don't know because they still got like 2 more symbols to like reveal or some shit. But anyways,
What are the symbols left?
There was a episode of the 12th Doctor's run, Twice Upon a Time, where it listed a bunch of his titles from throughout history. So I'm just going to read the text from that to introduce the Doctor, past the fact that he is a renegade, the whole renegade Time Lord from Gallifrey who ran away with a TARDIS. Alright. The Doctor has walked in blood in all of time and space. The Doctor has many names by which he's known. Other than, obviously, the Doctor. He's been called the Destroyer of Worlds, the Imp of the Pandorica, the Shadow of the Valeyard, the Beast
the
of
Oppenheimer?
War, the Butcher of Skull Moon, the Last Tree of Garcinon, the Destroyer of Skaro. He is the Doctor of War.
Who's the Oppenheimer?
No, but he has a lot of names, and another one is also... There's also the Oncoming Storm, the Last Child of Gallifrey, like Time Lord Victorious, John Smith sometimes.
hell, he's even been called Doctor Who. Literally the title
Yes.
of the show.
But most of the time,
They're
he
referred
simply
to.
goes by the Doctor.
Of course.
It's unknown exactly how old he is because he constantly lies about his age.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. But it's very likely that the Doctor has existed for all of time. And before the universe existed.
And I don't know if this is canon, but I also helped out Batman, Gandalf, and Wildstyle in Lego
Yeah.
Dimension.
If it's... See, here's the thing with Doctor Who. If it's official media, it's pretty much canon.
But I don't know if we could consider Lego Dimensions canon to the Doctor Who. The
Right.
Who-niverse? I think that's what it's called.
But it is, because it's official.
Huh.
It's an official Doctor Who crossover, and therefore it's technically canon.
Well then.
Granted, it's not something you truly have to consider because he outscales everybody from that game. Let's go to up here.
You ever watch Welcome to Eltingville? The pilot.
Of the pilot of what?
Welcome to Eltingville.
I have not.
Dear Santa Creel.
It's basically about.
Welcome to this.
It's basically about 4 comic book nerds fighting each other. There's 4 of them don't really have any redeeming qualities, but so some of them they're friends.
Cool. Right. The Doctor has pretty much experienced most, if not all, of everything in the universe. Traveled everywhere, met everybody, constantly references famous historical figures all the time. But the most defining event of his life is probably, or at least the most defining event he remembers, probably the last Great Time War. Event in which the Doctors and just the Time Lords in general, their greatest enemies, the Daleks, went to an all-out assault against them, trying to destroy them once and for all. The Doctor, for the most part, tried to stay out of this conflict, because for most of his life, he's kind of a pacifist. He doesn't like violence. He likes to describe himself as the man who never would. Sometimes. But eventually, the fighting between the Daleks and the Time Lords it reached everywhere and everywhen. So he was forced to drink a special elixir that awarded him the bonus regeneration of the War Doctor to settle things, to try and end the war. He did this by killing all of them, Daleks and Time Lords. Well, I say all. He tried, but well, we can get to those later. But after that, he lived the next couple of regeneration cycles lamenting over his decision to kill everyone. Up until the 11th, 10th, and the War Doctor traveled back to the moment and used the moment, which was a device that was able to kill them all across every single moment of time and space, and didn't use it and just trapped Gallifrey in a pocket universe. Speaking of the moment, the Doctor has a lot of stuff he's made, found, built over the years. But some of the most well-known pieces of his equipment aren't exactly stuff he made himself. The key one of those is the TARDIS, his good old time-traveling ship / wife / thing that stole him at the same time. It's
AKA a magic phone box.
Wasn't always a phone box, because it used to be able to disguise as something that would just blend into the environment. Then that got broken. Or what actually was, the thing just got broken for a bit, then it became really iconic, and then they just never fixed it. Except once. I think they did fix it once, but the phone box at this point is just too iconic to change. But despite being an outdated model of the TARDIS, a Type 40, even by the time the Doctor stole away with it, it is one of the most powerful things in his arsenal. It can travel to any moment in time and space.
Tight.
Thanks.
As it is able to perceive all of time and space at once. And this is a direct quote from when it got trapped inside of a human body. Because the TARDIS has a soul. and it is alive. And
Are you serious?
Yes, it takes the Doctor not where he wants to go, but where he needs to be. Another direct quote. He's not the best at flying it, but he makes do. And they work together to do all sorts of things. It can pull planets with a tractor beam, change the weather. It can create a force field around itself. The Doctor can summon it to himself. It can tank being in a black hole, supernovas. Of course, it can create paradoxes. And it can be powered by all sorts of various energies, but should it ever be destroyed, it is powerful enough to blow up reality. And that's multiple universes of reality.
You serious? Like, blow up
Yes.
reality?
In the 11th Doctor's first season, it builds up to the Doctor being trapped in the Pandorica, while the TARDIS is currently exploding at every single moment of time and space. Because it exists at every single moment of time and space. Kinda.
That actually makes sense.
Yes.
Off
It
topic,
can
I was
travel outside of the universe. And even just the TARDIS is built up of a few things, one of which is the TARDIS matrix, which is like the control thing of it, as opposed to the heart, which is a different thing altogether. But if the TARDIS matrix alone was ever destroyed forcefully, that would on its own rip a hole in the fabric of the universe. There are times when it's been able to travel outside of its home universe, especially back when the Time Lords were actually there. But after the Time Lords were wiped, it's had trouble traveling to other universes before.
Go Rig.
But
Thanks, Ryuk.
But it is entirely possible. The other really well-known, another really famous piece of his arsenal is his sonic screwdriver. I don't know.
You mean that magic wrench?
It's a screwdriver, not a wrench, but it is basically magic. He can do basically anything.
I call it a magic wrench.
Except wood.
I call it a...
Yeah, it doesn't have a setting for wood, but it can open, lock, unlock, hack, manipulate energy, scan anything, negate energy, amplify energy. It can even manipulate reality sometimes. And the Doctor's also had several other gadgets that basically do the same thing, but it all pretty much focuses on that. He's got some psychic paper that makes whatever he wants someone to see on it, they see. He's got obviously special keys for the TARDIS that it can home in on and spawn around him. Unbreakable chains made from the same material, forged in the same way as Mjolnir, within the heart of a dwarf star.
Mjolnir. You can't be serious. Mjolnir.
Well, it's not the same metal as Mjolnir, but it was forged in the same way. It's basically unbreakable.
My God.
Yeah. He's got an invisibility watch, anti-plastic. He's got
Shades that are
thing
infrared.
called... He's obviously got the moment. He's got a thing called a DMAT gun, which erases its target from all of time and space. There's so many things. And that's just what he has in terms of gadgetry. In terms of his actual abilities, what he can do himself with nothing. Obviously, is the most famous part of a Time Lord's physiology, their ability to regenerate from death. And the Doctor can do this. Most Time Lords have a limit of 12. The Doctor doesn't. He 40 did, up until the 11th was regenerating, because the War Doctor counted for his 12 regenerations. But the Timeless Child arc happened, one that has a lot of controversy to it, but it does explain the Doctor's ability to regenerate past the 12 cycles. And means the Doctor's been around for as long as the Gallifreyans have, because that's where their ability to regenerate came from, the Doctor. He has telepathy, telekinesis, he can teleport sometimes. He can put his entire essence into a stopwatch and hide himself from anybody scanning for Time Lord. He's a master of basically every kind of weapon that there is from his time as a soldier. He knows a lot of martial arts, with one of them being a style called Venusian Aikido, with the third Doctor specifically being a master of this. He can hack things. He's smart enough to be able to hack things on his own without the screwdriver. He's a master escape artist. He's also aware of the fourth wall and has broken out of his fictional reality to come to our reality multiple times. He's able to hypnotize someone. And yeah. That's all of his abilities. I'll explain the fourth wall thing when he because he came to our reality as Matt Smith, as the 11th Doctor, and he met Matt Smith.
Wait, who Smith?
Matt Smith. He's the 11th. He's the 11th Doctor. I mean, you'll recognize him probably the moment I send a GIF. There he is.
That's Max Smith.
Yes.
What did the actor play from other shows or movies?
I mean, he was in Morbius.
Morbius. Oh, you mean Michael's friend? Or is that?
Yes, but he was in Morbius.
He was in
Jared Leto.
I really hate how they made him the villain, because he looks like a wacky character.
Oh, he is. The 11th Doctor is one of the more jovial incarnations of the Doctor.
He was also Matt Smith, I should also mention, was also in Terminator Genesis.
Terminator Genesis. Be serious.
I am dead serious.
I shall also list some of the other various universes and realities that the Doctor has traveled to. He has been to, obviously, the Lego Dimension stuff. I'm
aware.
He's visited the Muppets, My Little Pony, Star Trek, Futurama, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Fallout, Simpsons, and the Marvel Universe. And probably a bunch of others. Those are just some of the highlights.
When he said Marvel, did you mean like the comics or something?
Yes.
Yes, and
Marvel did a comic run with the Doctor.
And yes,
it's all canon.
Funny enough, Attack on Titan did something like that as well.
That comic run from Marvel should scale the Doctor above all of Marvel comics.
Funny enough, Attack on Titan did something like that as well.
Yeah, the Marvel's crossed over a lot of stuff.
And yes, if you're wondering, as in the Fallout with the vaults and the freaking power armor and shit, yes, that Fallout.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, power armor's cool.
Some feats.
By the way, which version of the power armor from Fallout is your favorite? The one from 3 or from 4?
I've only ever played Fallout 4, so
I've messed around with Fallout 4 a lot when it came to like the modding scene, and me breaking the game with just having cheats on and just shooting infinite amount of mini nukes.
I kind of like the power armor from Fallout 4. It kind of gives the fact that it has a limited time of a power cell that you need to replace, and I kind of like that function.
Rick and the Doctor would shake hands with the fight. LOL. Who knows, Ryuk? But seriously though, like there has been a lot of incarnations of the Doctor, and the fact that many of the crossovers that the Doctor had are literally canon. So
an example of how good the Doctor is with weapons, he once fought Robin Hood with a spoon.
A spoon? You can't be serious.
Yes,
Spoon.
A spoon.
Robin Hood had a sword, Doctor had a spoon.
And he somehow managed to fight him with a goddamn spoon.
He's basically infinite speed. He's able to see all of time. At least he's able to perceive time as it's flowing around him. When the TARDIS was exploding, he flew the Pandorica into the middle of the explosion and survived. He was then left on the outside of time and space and everything, and was able to return from someone remembering him. He's been able to re-enter the universe before on many an occasion. Go to different universes. He built a TARDIS console from the remnants of a TARDIS graveyard. Just scraps and parts and all. He's... The cosmology of the Doctor Who universe has like 11 dimensions stacked on top of each other, whereas the Doctor is above these. The more you look at it, the crazier he gets. Especially like how I mentioned before, the Time Lords are kind of concepts in a way, and the Doctor we see in the show and stuff is kind of like an avatar of his representation. So,
but yeah, pretty much it's also mentioning the Faction Paradox wiki for the Doctor, the Marvel database for the Doctor, Memory Beta, the wiki that covers all licensed Star Trek works, and the Legos Dimensions wiki for, well, the Doctor. It's pretty much signifying that any of those crossovers that he's had is canon.
Yep. The Doctor has been around for a long time and done a lot of things. Anything Rick's done, the Doctor's probably done twice.
Let's see here. From the Versus Wiki, even though it's probably going to update it with the 15th Doctor as well, I'll make it that clear. The feats include, remembers the agony of 4.5 billion years of torture, can survive the vacuum of space, moment seals and destroys everything in the Time War, can perform sleight of hand on people without them noticing, as the Doctor in episode The Empty Child switched Captain Jack's gun with a banana. No, not that Captain Jack. This Captain Jack. If for those who are wondering, it's not Jack Sparrow.
The Doctor was able to survive electric blasts that were able to reduce humans to nothing. That's something. I mean, it's among the lowest stuff, but still.
That's Jack Sparrow?
No,
that's Captain Jack Harkness.
Yeah.
He's immortal.
Oh.
Yeah, for those who are confused, like, no, not that Captain Jack, this Captain Jack.
Rose Tyler absorbed the time vortex and was basically turned him immortal. And, well, I say immortal, he was eventually able to die. Well, it's implied heavily that Jack turned into, or Jack eventually became, I can find a good GIF of it. Okay, let me find a good image of it. There's an episode there where he's refers to himself as the face of Bo. Face of Bo is regarded as a great friend of the Doctor, and this is it. It's loading now. That's the face of Bo.
Oh, what is that?
That is the face of Bo. That is a
That's
being.
disgusting.
Yes, but if I have a look at when exactly the face of Bo dies, I'll tell you. The face of Bo exists all the way until the year 100,000 million, 5,000,000,023.
5,000,000,023.
Which
You
means that
kidding?
Jack here lived for 5 billion years. That's how much power was given to him by the time vortex when Rose brought him back to life after he was killed by a Dalek. And the Doctor can absorb this time vortex and basically have the power of the universe. And as far as Doctor Who cosmology goes, universes. A group of universes is called a multiverse, and then all the multiverses together is called the omniverse. And the Doctor can scale to this omniverse and above. And like I said, the universe, from the time of the Big Bang, there was a universe, well, there was a reality before the Big Bang. There was existence before the Big Bang. And the Doctor existed then.
Yeah.
So he was of the tanker universe being created. Multiple times, I think. Actually, this has happened.
So, yeah. Judging by that, I don't think Rick skills to something like that.
Yeah, Rick's dead. He's dead. I think I'm sensing a pattern here. Discord know whose Bill is, but he lost. Scourge and Courage and Scooby Doo fought, but neither of them win. And then Rick knows who Doctor Who is, but he's also losing. I think I'm noticing a pattern here.
Like if you really want to be technical, they had the whole with preparation time nonsense and everything, but I'm not going to go by that. But
well, the Doctor is even most of what I'm describing here, the Doctor can just do without preparation time.
Exactly.
If you give him prep time, he's. If you looked at the Versus Wiki, they put him at in tier 1 with preparation time. Before even getting to some of the crazier shit, like absorbing the time vortex and the glory from the Marvel Comics run.
And
it's a lot.
Like, the glory is literally high 1B, if you really want to be technical. In terms of,
Yeah, I'm looking at the page here. Assistance.
I had to look at some of the things for the Doctor Who wiki, or the TARDIS fandom, depending on what you fools want to call it, that are like, oh, there's no longer wiki anymore. Well, for your information, I refer to it as a wiki. But that's besides the point.
What's not a wiki anymore?
The term wiki is called fandom, but there is an image with the 8 Doctor Flood.
Wiki is still called Versus Battle Wiki. Wikis are still wikis.
Exactly, but anyways, there's 8th Doctor bonded with the Time Vortex comic The Flood, and
yep.
Well, this is what it looks like in terms of that scenario.
Yep.
Whoa! Who does he think
really
is the Human Torch?
Well, that's not really Human Torch. That's the Time Vortex.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I know that Rick could create an army of himself, but so could the Doctor. It's crazy.
It's basically it's just Rick fighting a concept. Like literally, it's already reminding me.
I have high doubts that Death Battle are going to give him the whole, like, the Doctor, the upper tiers up where he scales, but no matter where they put both of them, the Doctor just gets higher. And every...
Is this one-sided? Is this another one-sided fight?
Remember when I said Mega Man versus Astro Boy? Astro Boy's from the 50s. And Mega Man's from the 90s.
Existing for this long does a lot for you.
Yeah, so in other words, don't judge a older show by its looks.
And like I said, at the Doctor's maximum, he gets to scale above all of Marvel Comics.
So pretty much they're gonna give him. They're most likely gonna give him the Marvel Comics, since that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Which
we'll have a
I know
preview of the fight tomorrow, and we'll get to see him.
They've already released the snippet for Rick, which I'm just gonna put that right here.
I do actually need to check that out.
So, yeah,
I'll check that out later.
Me too.
So yeah, like,
is it?
And then we can watch the Doctor one a little bit later in the week.
Like.
Well, I've had my fair share of being in the Bitch prediction. Thank you, too, for having me on your prediction, and I'll see you next week for the full release.
Yeah, pretty much in conclusion, we can all agree that Rick is pretty much utterly fucked at this point, because the Doctor can get way more powerful beyond what he's normally capable of.
Oh, Storm, I had a question.
Yeah?
For the reaction for this episode coming up, would you be opposed to doing it in Rumble server again? Like as a
I wouldn't mind. It's just I'd have to make sure. For one, I don't. If I'm gonna have like little pop-up things on stream, it's just gonna be you guys talking and whatnot. But I'd have to figure that whole nonsense out. But. I mean, I didn't mind the other method I did, but...
Well, we can have it be that...
I just have to set it up again, that way.
Well, I suppose the easier way would just be to have the three of us do it.
It would be...
I remember Bakugan said he had ideas for our group name and then just never posted them.
Yeah, we never got around to that.
No. Hang on.
But, yeah, so pretty much in conclusion, Rick is dead as fuck.
Basically.
Like, it's pretty much Mega Man versus Astro Boy all over again. Like,
I'll make sure to post
series
it. When the vlog's done,
yeah.
When the vlog's done, I'll make sure to post it in Rumble server.
Yeah, so pretty much in conclusion...
Exactly where we've put them.
Older series outclasses a newer series.
What you do have to look forward to is that we've probably buffed Rick and Morty to some degree.
Oh yeah.
Which would be nice.
Like if Rick could find a way to beat the Doctor and pretty much just destroy not just the TARDIS but also him and stop his regeneration altogether, then that would be something, but I highly doubt Rick has anything
I'll see ya.
capable of doing that. But yeah, we'll see ya. So yeah, in conclusion, Rick is dead as fuck. Like, I don't see Rick actually winning this, but I've been proven wrong in the past on Death Battle, as well as these predictions, especially the times like Dio versus Alucard where I was proven wrong, or whatever, but even Akuma versus Shao Kahn I was proven wrong. So, it's literally all up in the air at this point. But, yeah, so that was the prediction for today. Hopefully you all enjoyed. We'll see you on the next week on the reaction, but I might do streams later this week. depending on if I got time for them. But, yeah, other than Captain Hedgewolf signing off, I'll see you in the next stream. So, good day, people.